Hi everyone, it's Lindsay. I am super excited to be back on the Imagine channel today, and I want to share with you how to make this fun candy cane stripe background. It's really easy. All you need is an ink pad and some painter's tape to work with on your cardstock. So I only keep one width of painter's tape in my craft closet. I don't have a ton of space for a bunch of different widths, but the great thing that you can do with this is cut it in your paper trimmer. So I just use the lines of my paper trimmer, line up my piece of craft tape or painter's tape, and then just cut it. You can do this with any paper trimmer you may have. It's super thin, and as long as you put the sticky side down towards your paper trimmer, you can get this to cut beautifully. I do a variety of widths of this, but today I'm using 1/4 of an inch and then almost like 1/8 of an inch. I just go to where the white in my paper trimmer starts. There's not really a measurement for that. But I cut a few of those different widths with my painter's tape, and now it's time to start laying this down onto my card base. This is going to be a very thin card that's super easy to mail, and I'm working straight on my card base for this background. I'm starting off with the 1/4 inch pieces, and I'll put these about 1.5 inches apart at an angle onto my background. Once I have all of the 1/4 inch pieces down, on either side of those, I'll be putting down my thinner strips of painter's tape. You want to make sure you have a little overhang on both the top and the bottom of your painter's tape, and make sure you give it a good rub with your finger so it's getting nice and stuck onto your cardstock. Because you've already applied this to your paper trimmer, it's already lost a little bit of its stick, so I don't even worry about sticking this to like my shirt or my pant leg to get a little bit of that stick gone. It already does that when you cut it in the paper trimmer. So I'll just finish up putting 2 of these pieces down, and then it's time to start ink blending. Now here's the great thing about this background. You can customize this to make it any sort of candy cane pattern you want. So if you wanted to do a few more stripes on here, you could. If you wanted your stripes closer together, you could do that. It really is up to you. Another great way to customize this is with the ink color you blend with. I'll just be using this Love Letter. It's a very small Memento dewdrop, and my jumbo ink dauber. However, you could go in with greens. You could do like the Starburst candy cane colors and do a complete set of cards. It's a really fun kind of pattern to play around with and create some card sets. Plus, this is super quick, so very easy to do these in multiples. I'm just using my jumbo ink dauber. You do want to be careful along the edges though, just so you're not pulling up your tape. You can see I'm pressing mine down. If you wanted to make your tape a little bit longer to hang over the edge, that would help with pulling up on the edges, but you just want to make sure that you're not rubbing over those edges, pulling it up and getting color underneath there. Because this is a super simple card, any little mistakes are going to be really noticeable, so just take your time and sponge on that ink. I'm doing more of a dabbing motion and just kind of pouncing the color on. Because it's one solid color, you don't need to do a whole lot of blending. Now for the next part, it's my favorite. I get to take off the painter's tape and see what's underneath and see kind of the final result of this pattern. So whenever you're pulling this up, as long as you've taken some of that stick off, it's going to be really easy. If you start to see it tearing, just go to the other end and start pulling from there. That should fix it, and you should be just a-okay. There's a closer look at the finished pattern. This ink is one of those ones that kind of settles in, so mine looks a little splotchy, but once it dries, it settles in and it evens itself out. Now, I want to keep the overall effect of this card very simple. So what I like to do when I have a background I don't want to cover much of, but I still want to give a little bit of separation to my die cut sentiment, I like to use a vellum piece, whether it's die cut or I just cut out a square. Here I used an oval die cut, and then on top of that I put a thanks that I die cut from craft cardstock. And with that, because I'm using vellum, you only want to go ahead and put glue where that die cut is. So just keep that in mind whenever you're gluing it down. But that is going to do it for me today. That's the project. I hope you guys found some things that you can play around with and kind of make your own. Thanks for watching, and happy crafting, everyone.